च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते ताप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण प्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। Hare Krishna. So we'll begin with the third chapter of the second canto, Pure Devotional Service, the Change of Heart. What was the name of the first chapter? Manoram Prabhu? The first chapter of the second canto.
It was the first step in God realization.
Very good. First step in God realization. Pradeep, what was the name of the second chapter?
The Lord in the heart.
Very good. Simple. First step in God realization and the Lord in the heart. And what is the conclusion of the second chapter? That of all the processes that were discussed in the second chapter, what were the processes which were discussed? Dayashil Prabhu? What processes were recommended by Srila Shukadev Goswami for attaining liberation? I will not hear that I don't know. That means you are not hearing. Hare Krishna. No, we can't hear you. Your voice is breaking. Okay, so you have to tune your audio. This is not. Ravindra Prabhu, you answer. What were the processes which were discussed? Don't see the book.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
First realization of Brahman. ब्रह्मा जी का विराट रूप, देन ब्रह्म रियलाइजेशन.
No. Answer properly. प्रियंका, आप बताइए.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
In the first chapter, the first step of
No, not first chapter. I'm asking about the second chapter.
second chapter is the super soul realization of the Lord in the heart. और सुखदेव गोस्वामी बताए द अष्टांग योग के बारे में. देन वो बता रहे हैं कि भक्ति योग is the superior.
Yes, he talks first about that how a person should live. Very frugally, you remember? One should lie down on the earth. What is the need of utensils when there is hands? Yeah. Then of course it is talking about the ashray for one's meditation, the dhyana ashray. So that is Paramatma. Then he talks about the Ashtanga Yoga, the Krama Bhakti. that the gross, it merges into the subtle, and how one can liberate himself. The detailed discussion was there. The various planets, how the living entity passes through. And then it goes to the Brahmalok. But in the conclusion, he speaks about Bhakti. Who will memorize the verse? Last two verses that we discussed, very, very nectarine verses. Who memorized? आपने किया प्रियंका?
Yes, Rosie.
बोलिए.
तस्मात् सर्वात्मना राजन् हरि सर्वत्र सर्वदा श्रोतव्य कीर्तितव्यस्य स्मरतव्यस् भगवान् नृणाम्.
Very good. Very simple. Tasmat sarvatmana rajan. Hari sarvatra sarvada. Shrotavya kirtitavyasya smartavya bhagavan nirnam. The other one is even more nectarine. Very, very nectarine. Oh, Pradeep, you memorized?
हरे कृष्ण पिबन्ति भागवत आत्मना सकम हरे कृष्ण
Playing from desktop 1 who
Your body language is saying no. Very beautiful. Pivanti hai bhagavata. बोलिए प्रदीप, just go ahead. Hare Krishna.
पिबन्ति भगवत आत्मना सकम कदामृतं श्रवण कदामृतं श्रवणपुतेषु संवृतं पुनन्ति ये विषय विभूषिताशयं व्रजन्ति तच्चरण सरोरुहान्तिकम्. हरे कृष्ण.
Good. Excellent. So please, so this is what Srimad Bhagavatam is all about. Existence. By drinking the nectar of Krishna Katha, the Amritam. Kathamritam Shravanam Puteshu Samritam. Punanti te Vishaya Vidushite. I will have to uninstall Zoom once again. Okay, we enter the third chapter. The second canto. निगादितं पृष्टवान् यद्भावना मम पृष्टवान् यद्भवान् मम निर्नाम्यान् म्रियमाणाना मनुष्येषु मनीषिणा. Srila Shukdev Goswami says that Parikshit Maharaj, as you have inquired from me as to the duty of the intelligent man who is on the threshold of death, so I have answered you. Nirnam yan niyamanana. Nirnam means among the human beings, those who are niyamanana, those who are on the verge of death. And manusheshu manishina. So amongst the human being who is manishina. Manishina means one who has master of his mind, the most intelligent person. So Srila Shukdev Goswami is saying, I have answered your question, that what he should do. So what is the answer? What answer has Srila Shukdev Goswami recommended? Now he is saying, he is claiming that I have already answered your query. What is the answer? Good, yeah, I am asking all of you. What is the answer? For those Nirnam who are Niyamananam. What is the answer? Yes, Manoram Prabhu?
Prabhuji, to hear, glorify, and chant the glories of the Supreme Lord, Prabhuji.
Yes, the last two verses. The last two verses. To always hear about, glorify, and remember Lord Hari with full concentration of mind. Shrotavya kirtitavyasya smartavya bhagavan nirnam. So those nirnam who are niyamananam, who are manisheshu manishinam, what they should do? Shrotavya kirtitavyasya smartavya bhagavan nirnam. In human society all over the world, there are millions and billions of men and women. And almost all of them are less intelligent because they have very little knowledge of the spirit soul. Almost all of them have a wrong conception of life, for they identify themselves with the gross and subtle material body, which they are not in fact. They may be situated in different high and low positions in the estimation of human society. But one should know definitely that unless one inquires was my voice reaching you? My voice was reaching you or not?
In between, it was not closing. Now it is coming.
Anyone remember this verse? What Srila Prabhupada is writing in the purport? That unless one inquires about himself beyond the body and the mind, all his activities in human life are total failure. So many verses are there. At least one, please mention. I won't give you the answer. You have to share. I'll move forward then. Therefore, out of thousands and thousands of men, one may inquire about the spirit self and thus consult the revealed scriptures like the Vedanta Sutras, Bhagavad Gita, and Srimad Bhagavatam. But in spite of reading and hearing such scriptures, unless one is in touch with the realized spiritual master, he cannot actually realize the real nature of self, etc. And out of thousands and hundreds of thousands of men, someone may know what Lord Krishna is in fact. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela 20, 122, 123, it is said that Lord Krishna, out of his causeless mercy, prepared the Vedic literature in the incarnation of Vyasadeva for the reading of by the intelligent class of men in the human society, which is almost totally forgetful of the genuine relation with Krishna. Anyone remembers this verse? This is teaching to Srila Sanatana Goswami. Madhya Leela chapter 20 to 25, most elaborate chapters. And anything and everything that we need to know on the Gaudiya Vaishnava Siddhanta philosophy, the absolute truth is there in these 6 chapters. If you have studied these 6 chapters, then there is nothing else to know. Everything is included there because Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is himself giving the teachings to Srila Sanatana Goswami for 60 days consecutively at Varanasi. Anyone remembers these payars? You have to participate. Participation is only possible when you have been attentively hearing throughout the sessions that we are spending. Otherwise, how it will become Pivanti ye Bhagavata Atmana Satam? Then it is not Pivanti. Neither it is Shravanam Puteshu. If we keep forgetting what we are hearing, then what is the advantage? Where is the benefit? बोलो पहला भी नहीं बताया. If there is no inquiry, unless and until one has understood himself beyond the body and the mind, all his efforts are a failure, useless. The second one, and why should Vyasadeva compose and compiled all these Vedic literatures? Very famous. So many times I have spoken about it. All blank. There is no filling in the blank. I will not give the answer. It is said that Lord Krishna, out of his causeless mercy, prepared these Vedic literatures in the incarnation of Vyasadeva for reading by the intelligent class of men in the human society, which is almost totally forgetful of the genuine relation with Krishna. Even such an intelligent class of men may be forgetful in their relation with the Lord. The whole Bhakti Yoga process is therefore a revival of the lost relation. This revival is possible in the human form of life, which is obtained only rarely in the evolutionary cycle of 8,400,000 species of life. The intelligent class of human being must take serious note of this opportunity. Who will take serious note? Those who are actually intelligent. Those who are foolish will not. Not all human beings are intelligent. Prabhupada is speaking this. This is what he started with the purport. That there are millions and billions of men and women. Almost all of them are less intelligent. And again, he is hammering the same point. Not all human beings are intelligent. So the importance of human life is not always understood. Therefore, Manishina, meaning thoughtful, in particularly is used here. And Manishina, person like Maharaj Parikshit, must therefore take to the lotus feet of Lord Krishna and fully engage himself in the devotional service of hearing and chanting the holy names and the pastimes of the Lord, which are all Hari Katha. This action is specially recommended when one is preparing for death. Shravanam and Kirtanam. So if one has performed properly Shravanam and Kirtanam, there is Smaranam. And if there is Smaranam, then he is freed. He is free from the material existence. Oh, very big verse. It has how many? 5 verses together. Brahma Varchasa Kamastu Yajeta Brahmatim Indram Indriya Kamastu Prajakama Prajapatim Devim Mayam Tushi Kamas Tejo Kama Vibhag Vasam Vasu Kama Vasan Rudran Virya Kamo Atha Viryava Anadya Kamastu Aditam Swarga Kama Adite Suta Vishwan Devan Rajya Kama Sandhyan Samsadhako Visham Ayus Kama Ashvino Devo Pushti Kama Ilam Yaje Pratishtha Kama Purusho Rodashi Loka Mataro Rupabhi Kamo Gandharvan Stri Kamo Apsara Urvashin Adhipatya Kama Sarvesham Yajeta Parameshtina Yagnam Yade Yashashkama Poshakama Prachetesam Vidya Kama Stugirisam Dampatyartha Umam Sati. So many desires. One who desires to be absorbed in the impersonal Brahma Jyoti effulgence should worship the master of the Vedas, Lord Brahma or Praspati. One who desires powerful sex should worship the heavenly king Indra. One who desires good progeny should worship the great progenitor called the Prajapatis. One who desires good fortune should worship Durga Devi, the superintendent of the material world. One desiring to be very powerful should worship fire. And one who aspires only after money should worship the Vasus. One should worship the Rudra incarnation of Lord Shiva if he wants to be a great hero. One who wants a large stock of grain should worship Aditi, the sons of Aditi, Vishwadev. And one who wants to be called a demigod. One who desires the long span of life should worship the demigods known as the Ashwini Kumaras. And a person desiring a strongly built body should worship the earth. One who desires stability in his post should worship the horizon of the earth combined. One who desires to be beautiful should worship the beautiful residents of the Gandharva planets. And one who desires good wife should worship the Apsaras and the Urvashi society girls of the heavenly kingdom. One who desires domination over others should worship Lord Brahma. Twice Brahma is mentioned. One who wants to merge in the impersonal intelligence, that also is Brahmaji. And one who desires domination over others should worship Lord Brahma, the head of the universe. One who desires tangible fame should worship the personality of Godhead. And one who desires the good bank balance should worship the demigod Varuna. If one desires to be greatly learned man, he should worship relation. He should worship the chaste goddess Uma, the wife of love. Such a long list is there. There are different modes of worship, but different persons desiring success subjects. The conditions show living within the purview of the material world enjoyable assets. But one can have considerable influence over a particular Hare Krishna. Sorry, I will delete this version of Zoom and I will reinstall it today. It has become thing. Prone to all disconnections. So it's talking about those who are less intelligent class of men, those who are having various material aspirations. And it is being recommended that for such material aspirations to be fulfilled, there are various demigods who empower such practitioners or worshippers. So Ravana became very powerful by worshipping Lord Shiva, and he used to offer severed heads to please Lord Shiva. He became so powerful by the grace of Lord Shiva that all the demigods were afraid of him until Ramachandra, and thus ruined himself. In other words, all such persons who aspire after gaining some of the material objects of enjoyment or the gross materialistic person are on the whole less intelligent, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 7:20. At least this you should answer quickly. All of you should know this verse. Bolo Purushottam, what is the verse?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So it is like kama hit.
मीनिंग बोलो जा रहा है
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी.
हाँ बोलिए
प्रभु इसका मीनिंग है जो किसी डिजायर से डेमिगॉड्स की पूजा करते हैं, तो those people are very less intelligent.
No, it is even stronger. Who will answer? Ramya? Namaste.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी। प्रभु
Hare
जी,
Krishna.
कामस्तेस्तु कृतज्ञाना जजन्ति अन्य देवता।
What is the next line? Priyanka, you remember the next line?
No, Prabhuji, I know that line.
You know, then please speak. Tam tam eveti kaunteya sada tadbhav bhavita. So kamasteste hita jnana. Those whose intelligence has been stolen. Aprit what? Kamasteste hita jnana. Their intelligence has already been stolen. How? By material desires. They approach and worship the demigods. There's a long list. Almost everyone worships because to fulfill his own list. It is said there that those who are bereft of all good sense, or those whose intelligence is withdrawn by the diluting energy of Maya, aspire to achieve all sorts of material enjoyment in life by pleasing the various demigods or by advancing in material civilization under the heading of scientific progress. The real problem of life in the material world is to solve the questions of birth, death, old age, and disease. No one wants to take birth again. No one wants to meet death. No one wants to be old or invalid. And no one wants disease. But these problems are solved neither by the grace of any demigod nor by the so-called advancement of material science. In the Bhagavad Gita as well as the Srimad Bhagavatam, such less intelligent persons have been described as devoid of all good senses. Shukdev Goswami said that out of 8,400,000 species of living entities, the human form of life is rare and valuable. And out of these rare human beings, those who are conscious of the material problems are rarer still. And the still more rare persons are those who are conscious of the values of Srimad Bhagavatam, which contains the message of the Lord and is pure devotee. There are verses both in Srimad Bhagavatam for this verse, for this explanation, and also in Srimad Bhagavatam and also in Death is inevitable for everyone, intelligent or foolish, as Manishi or the man of highly developed mind. Because at the time of death, he left all material Lord by hearing his message from the right person. Shukdev Goswami, but persons are condemned. Such aspirations are something like the intoxications of the degraded human society. Intelligent persons should try to avoid this aspiration and seek instead the permanent life by returning home back to Godhead. So I'll not take any further verse here. So that the principle goes deeper. Who is on the verge of death? One who has crossed 70 or 80, he is on the verge of death, and others are not. Everyone is on the verge of death. No one knows what is the duration of his life. And one can quit any time. So those who are actually intelligent, what they should do, they should always prepare till the time they are alive how to face death. And what preparation is to be done? In this section of Srimad Bhagavatam, Srila Shukdev Goswami is very clearly emphasizing, he is highlighting. And we see from the example of Parikshit Maharaj, this is precisely what he did. He became detached from everything else and he became attached to the process of hearing and chanting. Hare Krishna. Any question or contribution from your side? Yes, Madan Swarup.
Hare Krishna Babuji.
Hare Krishna.
Babuji, in Sloka 2 to 7, they have given various methods of worshipping
So various
for
personalities to be worshipped, not methods. Those who worship various personalities
desire,
to achieve
for,
material satisfaction.
for fulfillment of various desires.
Yes.
So, I mean, then isn't it encouragement that some people can look for
No, this is what he is saying. He is discerning. Na? This is Bhagavatam is for those who are
intelligent?
intelligent people. So this is a case study. It is clearly saying that those who are less intelligent, they are more inclined for demigod worship. Like it is said, cigarette is injurious to health. Is this statement, encouraging for those who are cigarette smokers?
It's
This
a
is
warning.
It's a warning. And some people say, no, this is aspiring me. Why should I live more? So if I want to injure my health, let me smoke. So for such people, what you will say? So what is he speaking? He is explaining that those who are worshipping, what kind of worship it is? This is the worship of less intelligent people. Those are foolish people. That is why you see again and again how much he is congratulating and how much he is complimenting
Parikshit Maharaj.
Maharaj for his glorious question and for his glorious activity. And then he is summarizing all others. That is why again and again Prabhupada's purport is saying that this entire world is populated with less intelligent people, those who are foolish people, those who are seeking material desires. That famous verse will come after this. That akamo sarvakamo va mokshama. You see, Bhagavatam has a very what should I say, connected flow. It discerns. You understand the word discern? That means it clearly establishes the distinguished positions of those who are the followers of Bhagavatam from the other classes of men. So how it is aspiration for those? It is aspiration for those who are wanting to commit suicide, spiritual suicide. Intelligent person will not do it. Foolish person, maybe he may think about it. But this is what is the condemnation. This is Shukdev Goswami is condemning such a person. So how can he be inspired? But someone who is being condemned. Okay, others? See how glorious is this process which Srila Prabhupada has gifted us. Daily hearing and daily chanting. These two things are the most essential aspects of our sadhana bhakti. Is hearing and chanting. Of course, reading is also an integral part of hearing and chanting. And many times I see sadhana card. Most of the time people don't send sadhana card. Why they don't send sadhana card? Because they don't have sadhana in their life. They don't have sadhana. 100 times I will say, then for a few days they will send and again they will go back to their own ways. If you don't perform sadhana bhakti, if you don't commit, then how will you get liberation from the illusionary energy. Never. Never ever it will happen. And you are saying that I don't want freedom from the illusionary energy. I want to embrace the illusionary. And go ahead. I don't want to name, but I am warning those who have said so many times and they are not hearing. The process is sadhana bhakti, and from sadhana it will come to raga, mruga. Where is the rag? The rag is in the process of that you is following. If the process had not been following with intensity, then there is no transformation. There will be no change. There will be no change in the heart. The heart will remain same with all so many material aspirations. Shukdev Goswami is recommending, Srimad Bhagavatam is recommending how to change the heart, but we say that we know better. Then you try your way and remain where you are. I've so many times told that your chanting should become every day maximum by 5 o'clock. You don't have an elaborate 1 hour morning Mangala Aarti program like we have in the temple. You don't need. You just recite Sansara Dava for 15 minutes or even less than 15 minutes, in 5 minutes. And then the Tulsi Pranam and start chanting. 5 o'clock morning, that should be the chanting should begin. And by 7 o'clock in the morning, then we are telling the Supreme Lord that we are serious. Otherwise, it's a show. There is no substance. And if you make a show, you don't fool anyone else rather than yourself. Only you end up fooling yourself. No one else. Pradeep, why do you give 4:45 the time? Do you join at 4:45 for chanting? Another absurdity. I am asking you, duty to join before 4:45 every day. If you do not do that, then you are committing an offense. Then the approach is not sincere. It is not serious. So make it 5, but join at 5. I can only share with you. I can only, emphasize whether to accept or not. Yatha ichhasi tatha kuru. Everyone has the freedom. Whether to accept or not to accept, or even to reject. I cannot do anything about it. But those who are not waking up, those who are not performing sadhana bhakti, then where will they land up? What will be the destination? Purushottam, you please speak to that doctor and tell him that you are coming. Have you spoken to him today?
Yes, Bhagwan, he's spoken.
Okay, good. Okay, I'm ending the session. You see, from wherever do we study and read? Whichever section of Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam, the emphasis is only 2. Yes. Shravanam, Kirtanam, and Smaranam. If we don't put our heart into such practice, then it will never happen. And if you don't perform austerity now, in the old days, you'll be able to perform austerity. Never it will happen. It is now. It is now or never. Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. All glories to the